Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more. Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Investor Podcast, live from the Cobble Group Studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, for another episode of Office Hours. This is the weekly question and answer forum that I am doing here live on YouTube on Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Quick update on my week before we start diving into questions. If you've got questions, you're joining us live, feel free to go ahead and drop those in the live chat. I will get to them. Let's see. This past week, we launched the accountability pods for my CRE Accelerator program, and that has been a lot of fun. We've been working on that for a little over a month, making sure that we can kind of get it right. But yeah, the accountability pods, we broke everybody out into 4 to 6 person groups. We've now hit over 40 members in the community, which is really exciting to see. And they're starting to have their weekly accountability calls, getting to know each other better and holding each other accountable to their goals. That's been something that's been very impactful for me in the masterminds that I am in. So excited to have that in our community. Thursday and Friday, I was out in Kansas City for the first time, which I got to be honest with you, Kansas City might have the best barbecue. That's tough to say coming from a Tennessee boy, but I was very impressed. Logan Freeman showed me around the town, spent a couple of days with him diving into commercial real estate brokerage models and working on our commercial real estate brokers mastermind. Some of y'all may know that he and I have been working on that for a little bit. We actually set a hard date for the launch of October 1st. So we will be launching the brokers mastermind on October 1st. Really excited to be bringing that to the world. I mean, there's nothing really out there like it. So if you want to sign up for the wait list, you will be hearing from us very soon because we're getting everything ready. Go to brokersmastermind.com and you'll be hearing more from us here pretty soon on exactly what it will be like. But it's going to be pretty intense. I mean, that's why Logan and I are spending so much time to get ready for it before it launches. We're going to be offering, there will be weekly calls, coaching and accountability calls. We'll have quarterly in-person meetups. We'll have an annual mastermind retreat and a lot of other items involved with that. So if you want to take your brokerage game to the next level, we're teaching commercial real estate brokers how to earn $1 million, how to keep $1 million, and then how to invest $1 million. That's kind of our mantra. Earn $1 million, keep $1 million, invest $1 million. So yeah, had a good time in Kansas City. I've never been there before, and I was really impressed with the city. Their architecture is unbelievable. And Logan showed me, if you follow me on Instagram, Logan showed me this type of apartment building that they have there called the KC 6-shooter, which I thought was really interesting. It's a centrally loaded 6-unit apartment building. Kind of looks just like a really big mansion. But it fits on these, smaller urban lots. It's something that I wish we definitely had in Nashville. It kind of solves that missing middle problem. So, would love to see that. Jorge is saying, good morning, Tyler. Hope all is well. Good to see you, Jorge. Thanks for joining us. Vicken saying, good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Vicken. Let's see. The CRA group is saying, good morning from Nodak. Hey, Kristen, good to see you. Allison, good morning. Hope your week is off to a good start. It is off to a good start, which I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in a second. Very interesting week so far. Yesterday, I was in a deposition all day. I have never been deposed before, so it was a very interesting experience for me. I'm in the middle of a lawsuit. I can't really talk about it since we are obviously in the middle of it. But as soon as I can, I will happily share those details with you all. I think it'd be interesting for you all to hear. Lawsuits are an unfortunate side effect of being in real estate. One of my mentors said, if you are not getting into lawsuits, then you're not doing any business. And unfortunately, that seems to be true. So I am the one that is actually suing the other party. And, again, don't want to go into details today, considering the fact that it is an ongoing lawsuit, but I will update you. I mean, it was, when I can. It was interesting. We started at like 9:30 and didn't leave until 2:15. And that stuff is mentally exhausting, right? Because you have to be on guard with attorneys, because you never know, like, everybody's playing 3D chess, right? You've got to really stay, or 4D chess. You got to really stay ahead of the game there. And I think we did pretty well. So I actually kind of enjoyed it in a weird way, just because, I love commercial real estate and I feel like I know my projects really well. So it was fun. I will update you all more again, as I am able to. We also had a planning commission hearing last night for a project that we've been working on for a little while now. And it's essentially a hotel to apartment conversion. And, we've done these types of projects before. If you're familiar with the Sohana, we worked on that one here in Nashville, which was, again, a roadside motel conversion into micro apartment units. And we're having a hard time getting this particular city to wrap their minds around people wanting to live in 228 to 278, give or take, square feet. And, that's the biggest problem that real estate developers, neighborhoods, and honestly just people are facing today. That's why we don't have missing middle. That's why we don't have affordable housing, is because a lot of the people that are in power, that are ultimately making these decisions, don't really care. They don't really understand what the problem is. We're looking at providing these units for people with an income of between $45,000 and $60,000. There is nothing affordable for that income range today. And at one point, I asked one of the commissioners, how long have you been in your house? He said 30 years. And I said, okay, well, is it fair to say that your mortgage is probably well below $2,000 a month? And he said, well, it would be if I had a mortgage. And I was like, exactly. I mean, you don't understand how expensive housing is today. You may not want to live in 228 square feet, but it provides somebody with a home. And they just couldn't wrap their minds around why they should be on board with this zoning change. I felt like we did a really good job, really conveying it to them. We got deferred to the next meeting, so we'll see how it goes. But that's what we're up against out there. People want to make, real estate developers want to make our communities better and provide this missing middle housing. And a lot of our politicians, metropolitan governments, don't really care for it. They say they want it, but then when it comes to actually getting these projects approved, nobody will approve them. I mean, you think about that Kansas City 6-shooter that I was talking about, a 6-unit apartment complex that basically sits on a single family lot that's, less than a quarter of an acre. And that density would solve a lot of housing issues, especially like within the Nashville area, but I'm sure throughout the Southeast, throughout the country. And a lot of municipalities don't want to deal with it. It makes no sense to me at all. But that's where we are. So anyway, that is that's a lot of my opinions on something. I guess that's why you're tuning into my podcast, to hear my thoughts on these items. Heston is saying, in what ways can a new commercial broker provide value? Well, Heston, that's kind of a loaded question. There's so many ways that a commercial broker can provide value, but who are you trying to provide value to? Is it your seller? Is it your buyer? It really depends on who you're working with. But number one, just know your market better than anybody else, right? When I first got started as the new broker of the Cobble Group, right in 2018 when I founded the company, I went out and I learned East Nashville better than anybody else. Anybody else. I mean, hands down, I could work this market better than anyone. So when I was talking to people, I could confidently say, I am the guy to work this market for you. Here's all of the other properties that I've worked on over here. Let me work on your property. And it was tough to break into at first, right? Because I was a boutique broker. I had a couple of national brokerages that had some deals over here that I was competing against. And you know what? The owners ended up going with the national brokerages. They felt like, oh, well, these guys have more resources. They have a bigger team. They're going to be able to do it better. And turns out those guys didn't know the market as well. They didn't care about those listings as much as I did. And they failed. And I ended up taking over. I'm thinking of 2 listings specifically. I took over from national brokerages over here in East Nashville and crushed it. They had those listings for over a year, got nowhere. I took them on and had them done within 3 to 4 months. So if you know your market better than anybody else, you know the tenants that are in that market, the buyers, the sellers, what is driving change within that market, that's how you add value. Because then you become the go-to resource for any investors in that market, right? I mean, if an investor is thinking about buying a building and they know that you know every single tenant that's looking at moving in the market, they're calling you. Hey, Heston, I'm looking at buying a 10,000 square foot industrial building in your neighborhood. What do you think the rental rate's going to be? How long do you think it's going to be vacant? What kind of tenants do you think are going to go into it? You're going to get that listing every time. So hope that helps, man. Ears and More is saying good morning. Jarrell is saying good morning. Good morning, Jarrell. Good to see you, man. He's in my CRE Accelerator program. AJ Montel, what's up, buddy? Saying long day. Yeah, yesterday was a long day. I mean, it was. I got to my attorney's office at 8, and then I left at 2:15. Ran home to take a nap because I was so mentally drained. And then as soon as I got up, had to go to the planning commission hearing. Didn't get out of that until like 7:30. So yeah, it was a long day. Robinson saying, good morning, Tyler. Who can attend that mastermind event? So Robinson, the Brokers Mastermind is going to be a year-long program. So 12 months. Really, theoretically, anybody can join it. It is intended, like the education, the conversations, the coaching, the events is all going to be focused on commercial real estate brokerage. Theoretically, if you're just interested in commercial real estate brokerage, but you don't want to be a commercial real estate broker, you could certainly join. But it's all going to be about making and creating the best commercial real estate brokers we possibly can. Petru is saying, hi, I currently have a property under contract. Awesome. Congratulations, Petru. That's very exciting. Ears and More. It's Sandy. It's one of those rare moments I can attend this because I'm in Pacific Standard Time. I'm part of the CRE Mastermind, and it's been a great experience so far. Sandy, thanks for jumping in. Sandy just joined us a couple weeks ago, and we're working on a deal that she actually posted in the group, which is really exciting to see. So, Sandy, thanks for joining us. Eddie is saying, good morning. Would love to hear about the lawsuit when you can. I like your accent wall. What finishes do you have for your ceiling and floor? It's going to be a fun one. It's one of those deals where it's like nobody likes to be in a lawsuit, but at least this one is a little bit entertaining and fun to a certain extent, right? I mean, it's still a lawsuit. Let's see. I've got like my accent wall. I can't recall what color blue that is, but we literally just took, I think those are 1x2s maybe, and just cut them up and did the little pattern. My maintenance guy, Joe, did all of this for me. And other than that, I mean, if I could show you, it's literally a drop ceiling. We just have, some lighting here in the studio, but I am making some upgrades to the studio, as well. If you've ever been here, which I'm sure, probably none of you have, there is a few more rooms that I actually have here that are all totally separated. And I've got a contractor that was actually in here about 10 minutes ago, that is looking at demoing out some of the space, redoing it, and we're going to add a couple of other rooms to the studio. So really excited to be kind of offering something new here. So yeah, I mean, all in all, like it was relatively easy to do. I mean, of course, I hung my guitars on the wall. I've got a bunch of guitars. So let's see. Amrita hey, Amrita, how you doing? She's saying, do these hotel rooms get kitchens? Yes. So when we convert these hotels to apartments, they are essentially efficiency units. So they're studios, right? I mean, you may or may not have a Murphy bed, right? I like the Murphy bed idea because it basically turns your bedroom into a living room and a kitchen. And then you have an efficiency kitchen. So you may or may not have a full-size fridge. It's probably going to be a micro fridge. or, like a half-sized fridge. And typically you'll have either an air fryer or a hot plate with a sink. And then, of course, you'll have, a closet and a bathroom. So they're very efficient units. I will say we signed 124 leases in 6 months on the first one of these that we did. That is an incredibly fast lease up. So whether or not you would want to live there, there is high demand for this type of unit because, think about it, $1,200 a month. A lot of people are paying $800 a month to have a bunch of roommates. So for $1,200 a month, you get your own spot. I would do that just out of the convenience of not having to live with other people. And let's be real. Most people aren't hanging out at their house all the time. And you've got nice amenities on site to where people can, their living room becomes the movie theater that you did on site, or the gym, or the lounge that you have in the front office, or the podcasting studio, whatever it is. There's so many different amenities that you can do. Let's see. Armand is saying total disconnection. Yeah. Talking about the, our politicians and what they say out of one side of their mouth and then what they're willing to approve. Unfortunately, I have dealt with that for years in the city of Nashville. There are council members that they will say publicly, we want affordable housing. And then you get behind closed doors with them and they say, I will never approve this. I'm not going to do it in my neighborhood. I will say that we have some phenomenal council members in Nashville, and they are pushing the affordable housing agenda forward, and it is phenomenal to work with them. And the way that they operate attracts even better development to their neighborhoods and constituents, which makes the neighborhoods better. So it's this self-fulfilling cycle, right? Either you've got a politician that is trying to figure out how to solve these issues, or they really don't. And if you're trying to solve the issues, it moves your neighborhood in a positive way. If you don't, it just spirals downwards because nobody wants to work there. Nobody wants to invest money into that community. That's how it happens. Memphis is a great example of how this has played out over decades. You have a lot of politicians that are really corrupt, a long line of corrupt politicians. And it took the biggest city in Tennessee that used to be like the golden child of Tennessee. And just over years, that corruption has destroyed their neighborhoods, and it's destroyed the city's reputation, Let's see. Jorge's saying, glad to see you're working on micro apartments. These spaces can be made livable, comfortable, and efficient. Looking to do the same thing in Chicago. They're great little units. It's efficient. It's smaller than what I would want to live in today, but when I was living in an apartment complex, I had 750 square feet in my apartment unit. And I don't cook, right? Like I'm usually never at my apartment because I'm working all the time, or I'm out with friends, or I'm out with clients, whatever it is. So I literally would go home just to go to sleep and then get up and leave by 6:30 the next morning. So it was just a place to rest my head. Well, I had a third of my unit was a kitchen. So I was like, man, really, I could probably get away with 500 square feet. I don't need all of this. So take that for what it is. Let's see. Petru is saying, I have industrial property under contract, but I have a hard time finding financing. 7A, it's about 13%. It's pretty high. What's your opinion on that? Petru, I believe you're saying the SBA 7A financing is at 13% interest. That is pretty high. I wouldn't be going that route. I don't know how you can make a deal really work at that unless you were getting a significant discount on the property. Otherwise, I would find either a different form of financing, paying all cash, raising capital from investors, or passing on the deal altogether. To me, 13% interest is just unbelievably high. But again, if you're able to get the property for half its value, 13% interest really isn't all that bad, right? So it's all on perspective. You can't pay 2021, 22 pricing at 13% interest. But if you can get 2008 pricing, hell yeah, man, go for it. Moxie is saying, nice, I'm a commercial real estate broker specializing in retail for the past 10 years, licensed in New York and consult all over the country. Glad to hear it. Thanks, Moxie. Cam is saying, what's up, Tyler? I'm looking to get into absolute triple net lease properties. Any advice on how I can get my first property? Hey, Cam, so I had a call with a student of mine this past week. He wanted to get into absolute triple net properties to start building wealth. And, once I started breaking it down, I was like, look, here's absolute net properties are phenomenal, but they are wealth preservation. They're not wealth building, because unless you have $2 to $3 to $4 million in cash, they're not really going to get you the level of return that you honestly want. And if you're going out and you're raising capital from investors to do that, then it's even worse of a prospect. So, Cam, what I would say is it depends on what your goals are. If you've got a lot of cash and you just want to preserve your wealth and make sure that you keep a consistent income coming in, hell yeah, go for absolute triple net properties. If what you're trying to do though is build wealth and get to a different, economic income level, then I would say go for value add. Go work on something where you can put some sweat into it and increase the value disproportionately, right? The first deal I ever did that I syndicated on, we bought the property for $980,000. We put $230,000 into it. So let's just say it's $1,200,000 all in. And we sold it within 16 months for $1,650,000. But that's because I spent a bunch of money renovating the building. Then I signed 17 leases, and then it was worth $450,000 more to the next guy. So because we did that, we got like a 30% IRR for our investors. So it's worth, when you're first starting out, to spend the time creating the value and then benefiting on the back end. I'll use another example. A partner and I bought a 1.7 acre piece of property a couple of years ago that was zoned for 11 units. We bought it for $618,000. We're under contract today on it for $1,550,000 because we rezoned it to 63 units. Well, we're going to walk away somewhere around $1.1 million in cash net from that sale. And we're probably just going to 1031 exchange that into a single tenant net lease deal, right? And forget about it. So we went out, we actively created the wealth, and then now we're putting it into something passive. And then we'll just go rinse, wash, and repeat that several more times. So hope that strategy makes sense. That's my favorite strategy to use as we're going through creating wealth in commercial real estate. Darren is saying, having a tough time determining ARV of small commercial property in historical area where nothing has been sold in 10 plus years. Any help is appreciated. Darren, what I would do is, go through and just look at cap rates in your area and determine, what your NOI is going to be based on lease rates, and just estimate it that way, right? So, if you're in a small area where nothing is sold, it's probably going to be, a 7.75 to 8.25% cap rate, right? You're going to have a high cap rate just because it's a less desirable area. But that could be fine depending on what you're buying the building for, renovating it for, and what you're leasing it at, right? So I would kind of back into it that way and see kind of what value you can come up with. You could also just hire an appraiser to come in and do an after repair value for you. Sandy's saying, my first apartment was 400 square feet. It had a kitchen and a Murphy bed. I agreed on the rent. It was $1,100 back in 2012. The apartment had great amenities. Yeah, that's like kind of all you need. It makes it super easy, especially when you have a Murphy bed. You basically get twice as many rooms, in my opinion. Heston is saying, how were you able to gain a deep understanding of financial terms and modeling without going to college? That's a good question. I just because I didn't go to college doesn't mean that I haven't spent a lot of time educating myself. So I think there's a big difference there. College is fine for teaching you how to learn, but it doesn't really give you the principles that you need for your specific industry. So really, after you get out of college, you then got to go learn all over again your industry, right? So instead of wasting time going to college, I just immediately started buying every book I could get on commercial real estate, started having conversations with everybody that was already established in it, going to classes, finding mentors, finding coaches. I did everything. I've spent a lot of money on coaching, on masterminds, on conferences, on further education, just to get to the level of where I am today. And, it takes time. It honestly does, especially in an industry like commercial real estate where the learning curve is just so steep. But that's really it. It's spending the time, having the conversations, working through it, watching videos on YouTube. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I mean, the number of podcasts that I've listened to over the years is probably like scary. But I just tend to not listen to music anymore. I love music. It's my favorite thing. But when I get into the car, I'm like, I got to continue to learn. I've got to learn something new today. It's kind of an obsession that I have, honestly. Sandy's saying, find another SBA loan provider. There's 7 to 8% out there. That's great. So, Petru, yeah. I mean, go look into other SBA loan providers. There are a lot of preferred banks out there that will do SBA owner-occupied loans for you. So I would definitely get out there and take a look at that. Yeah, Moxie's saying 13% is insane. You can find more attractive hard money loan out there if that's what you need. Yeah, I would agree with that. Jeff, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. A topic in this realm is opportunity zones. Your thoughts, advantages, disadvantages. Are OZs the answer to regentrification? So opportunity zones were super hot back in 2021. They're not as hot, anymore. But I still think that they're interesting. I don't find them to be as interesting as they, used to be. Opportunity zones were really created by the federal government to incentivize investment into blighted areas. The problem that I see with opportunity zones is that whoever was deciding what is supposed to be in an OZ and what is not, either wasn't paying attention or they were doing some things that were self-servingly, because there's parts of East Nashville that have $1 million plus homes that are in an opportunity zone, and then parts that have, run down abandoned buildings that should be in an OZ, they're not. So I don't really know how that was all determined. Maybe they'll fix it at some point. But opportunity zones are great. I mean, if you go in and you buy a property in an OZ, this was, back in 2021, go watch my episode with Ashley Tyson. We recently just did an interview with him on this channel talking about diving into OZs again today. Because I had him on the show a few years ago, and I actually did set up my OZ fund through him. He's great. So, I don't know exactly what all of the benefits are today, but what I will say is they're worth looking into. I am looking forward to seeing if they have the impact that the federal government was hoping it would have. There are some neighborhoods in Nashville that have significantly benefited from having opportunity zones. The real benefit to investors being you can move your capital gains, exposed money into it. And at the end of 10 years, you theoretically can pull out 100% of your cash, capital gains tax free, which is a big deal. It's the only way that you can do that, right? Most people just kick the can down the road by doing a 1031 exchange. But at some point, either you die and you pass it on and then they have a step-up basis and they don't have to worry about those taxes, or you sell that building and then you've got to pay a whole bunch of capital gains taxes. That's why it was so attractive to so many investors for a little bit. Matt's saying, dang it, lost track of time and I'm so late. Sorry, Matt. We've only got a couple more minutes, but feel free to jump in earlier next time. Heston, appreciate the responses, man. Your info and content is priceless. Happy to do it, Heston. That is what I'm here for. I just love doing it. Ivan is saying, how connect my own small warehouses with clients or businesses? Ivan, what I would do is, put some signs up, get it posted on the internet, do some videos, do some marketing, get out there and hand out flyers to local businesses, go talk to the Chamber of Commerce, talk to the Economic Development Board, call every single commercial broker in the area that works on deals like that. And that is how you can get your property leased. Thank you all for joining me for this week's episode of Office Hours. Join me next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll see y'all then. Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more.